For like Austin Bit Devs taking a pause, you get a bunch of people in our community here who are like super excited by AI, and that's good. Like I think that's a good thing that we're like shaping new frontiers. Here's a little shill for our panel in Vegas.
Dude, you're gonna be there up there with Roland? Snap, that's gonna be badass.
Why AI agents want Bitcoin?
Hell
Do agents want Bitcoin?
Well, it's not even if they want Bitcoin. Like, if we don't build out this infrastructure layer,
it's a funny misnomer. Like agents don't want anything. But anyways, it'll be a good topic of conversation. So a bunch of people are starting to build on this, and then my argument for like we have the benefit in the Bitcoin space of everyone already speaking the same language. We speak Bitcoin at the base layer. We speak Lightning and other related L2s that all use Lightning for interop. Yeah. Like there's an increasing consensus around Nostr for this sort of like data layer that's adjacent but not like spraying data onto the chains. So we've got all the makings of like decentralized applications, like all the substrate for what should be like sort of the agentic AI layers for that. And one thing that I think is going to help the many people who are building little infrastructure pieces in isolation is to have some sort of unifying context here that we're trying to get at with Pylon, which is like, if everyone, like literally everybody can, using these Bitcoin, Lightning, Nostr, and little like tech based on top of it, can do something really cool, like plug in any spare compute that you have and make that available into this open network, we are going to be using it. We are buyer number one. We want your compute. But guess what? All of this is on an open network. It's Nostr and IP90.
Exactly, yeah.
If someone else wants to come and outbid us for your compute and pay more than we do, we want that to happen because we want this sort of like thriving open marketplace to happen.
I think one of the cool things that I think that just from talking to you this past month on all this stuff, especially around the rodeo when you were kind of telling me about this, like the more I realize it's like it's thought out really carefully and intentionally, because you have to have this part first, right? Before you get to all the stuff that like Alby's doing, right? Like the actual sandboxing of like being able to pay for things without like a digital identity and stuff like that. And I think everything is kind of intersecting right now where you're kind of seeing even the Nostr stuff is kind of like maybe they'll get to a DID at some point, and then like this infrastructure has to be built, and then at some point all that just should work open source. Then that's when we get to that bigger pie, that global pie.
So this is a little bit what it looks like. We're evolving the UI, but it should just be like a very lightweight terminal UI. Here's how you download it. Well, I mean, this is all you do, really. You paste that in to your agent. We'll have some other ways for you to install it. Other than that, you should be able to install this from NPM. But the stats will keep ticking up. We got the number of pylons here.
Crazy.
We note that, like, the biggest training run ever from BitTensor subnet 300 jillion, I don't know what it is, but like they had 70 people compute to a training run. Pylon, which right now we're doing very basic inference. Your Pylon will load a Gemma 4 model. We're kind of like collecting telemetry to see what your device can handle. Can we reliably pass you inference requests for a lightweight Gemma 4 model, one of the bigger Gemma 4 models, something else from Hugging Face. When we launched a version of this a couple years ago, we had support for inference, fine-tuning, image generation, embedding. So your machine, the Pylon, the purpose of the Pylon is basically you're saying, yes, OpenAgents, like here's the subset of my computer that you can use for stuff. You're selling that, we're paying to your built-in Bitcoin wallet. In the next few days, hopefully by Friday, but probably more next week, we're going to be adding in the sort of decentralized training infrastructure. So we're going to be doing actual training runs. That aside from like inference, like we're definitely going to be doing inference, but we're most excited about doing inference not just for open models generally, but also for open models that we train ourselves using this same system. Yeah. So the kinds, like I was saying on the last episode, like the multi-billion-dollar training runs, the multi hundreds of billions of dollars that are allocated by the massive AI companies for compute. A lot of that goes to training. It's like instead of that going out to NVIDIA and these big cloud people, like why don't we pay that to actual people? There's still a bunch of kind of like ML research that we need to do because no one's really optimized for what massive decentralized training runs on the edge actually can do. There's been great work, and even though I make fun of them for doing shitcoin stuff, I have to like give a lot of credit to Templar in the Tensor Network and Prime Intellect. Noose has got some stuff on this where they've taken the ideas come out of DeepMind for DeLoco and some of these algorithms for decentralized training, and they've put them to use. Now they've generally attached these shitcoins that I think are completely unnecessary. But hey, if you have 70 people that will compute to be paid in your shitcoin, if we make it easy for Bitcoin, the massive, biggest, most secure, coolest, awesomest network, why don't we get 700 people or 7,000 or 70,000 people contributing their compute to this? Can we build an entire vertically integrated AI stack on top of retail compute and get you paid and get you paid and get you paid? This is what we're building.
Yeah, I think you put together a good team, man. There's, I think one of the interesting things that you have is like some people actually doing research behind the scenes on all this stuff, so it's not so much on your plate to get it there. So
it's great that we have people who've contributed in the past to open source bounties, developers starting to come back. We've got people outside of like our explicit community in the open source community, like Sarah I mentioned last video. There's a bunch of kind of people in the open source and local AI community that we're excited to work more with. I'd like to get those people hooked up to revenue streams where they can be contributing their compute into our network. Why not get paid Bitcoin for all of this stuff? So yeah, we think that one thing realistically this will look like is that we're going to be like running / leading the largest AI lab, decentralized AI lab this year.
I would say get to the GitHub and like start contributing. There's room there to experiment.
Let's touch on a couple other topics. So today, big news, Meta is back. Muse Spark scores 52 on some benchmarks, blah, blah, blah. New model from Meta. We were given early access. It's the first frontier class from model, but it's the first model that's not being released as open weights.
Oh, I thought they said that he was going to do that.
No, maybe someday. We hope to at some point. The model is not open source, and it's not accessible via an API. Trust us, bro. It's really good. Our selected benchmark organizations have verified how good it is. So
he's not. So they're no longer doing that anymore.
No, they're done. They're off. They're off Team Open. Unsubscribe. I don't care what your closed things is. Losers. We forecasted this. We foreshadowed this back in July of 2025. New York Times said that Meta was reconsidering their open approach to AI. And we trumpeted this loudly because it was very clear that they were just ditching Team Open, and they're going to keep being mealy-mouthed and maybe we'll and then we say like if you leave Team Open, you're going to lose. Now, here is a nice post from Nathan Lambert. So I mentioned I have a slide in our pitch deck now where I talk about Allen AI and how they've been talking a whole bunch about let's build American DeepSeek. Yeah, we think there should be an American DeepSeek, but guess what? This team, Allen AI, just got their core team raided by Microsoft a few weeks ago, and they had all this funding and stuff in motion to train their own models, and they no longer have the resources to train their own models. They got raided and eviscerated, and this is what helped me realize that like, oh, you know what? In the past when I saw this, I was like, yeah, we need that, but I don't have the credibility to lead that because I don't have an ML background. And I've now come to realize that like, the relevant part here isn't the ML background of who runs the thing. It's probably the ability to tell the big labs, fuck you. You come try to acquire me, you're going to get a big middle finger in your face. You come after our people and try to acquire our people, we'll destroy you. So, we're going to fight you. We want to fight all these people simultaneously.
And you're kind of seeing it in Austin already. I mean, you pushed this to Slack earlier about like Austin's going to be more of the open. How'd you say that? You were like,
I think SF will be the sort of like closed. You're gonna have these sort of like nerds who want to get their tendrils around DC through regulatory capture, because they can't actually like compete. So here's we'll close with this. Here's my prediction. And this is in response to Anthropic releasing some managed agents platform. Everything you need to build and deploy agents at scale. It's our agent harness. It's like you would think that as OpenAgents building platforms for people to use agents, that I would really care about this, but no. Anthropic is going to keep releasing vibe-coded slop every day that sounds cool, but no one actually uses. Claude Code and related products have done well enough to let them bullshit their way through enterprise procurements. Their revenue will keep increasing for a while. They spray a few more months of bullshit, then they IPO, exit their early backers, step up lobbying and regulatory efforts loosely coordinated with OpenAI's, trying to hold off open source competitors like us. They get a few lefties excited about commie UBI programs in elections 26 and 28, but nothing substantively happens aside from performative regulatory efforts that do nothing but get lobbyists paid. Then what's going to happen? Team Open meaningfully catches up on models and products, and we begin our own march through the enterprise. Everyone realizes the regulatory capturers were primarily bullshitting. They oversold benefits and risks to cultivate an aura that helped with sales, but not outcomes. Team Open delivers the real goods. The benefits of productivity, deflation, and dividends finally start materializing and benefiting normies. Team America merges with Team Open, led by OpenAgents, based here in Austin. Anthropic and other closed AI companies become a laughingstock and historical footnote. We build floating data centers in international waters, aka Atlantis, and go to space, and begin a millennium of human-led, AI-assisted galactic empire. Remind me of this in 3 years.
That tracks. Yeah, that tracks.
That tracks. We'll end it there. You can help us in this effort by selling us your compute. We want to turn it into cool stuff. Go to openagents.com, click the button, and watch the numbers go up. Help us make these numbers get bigger, okay?
Dude, that's crazy. All right, I'm going to end it
See you
there.
soon.